I love the idea of self-improvement, but let's not forget that the ultimate goal of improving yourself is to build a man that can contribute value to a relationship, a business, or a community. Now, all of these things require you to interact with other people. So do not convince yourself that spending the majority of your time locked away in your bedroom in isolation is some act of moral virtue. Now, I want to be clear, isolation is necessary in phases if you're focused on building something. Maybe it's your body, maybe it's a business, maybe it's on learning a new skill. But after you learn the skill, after you get the foundation of your business built, after you get your body in motion, you're starting to look good, feel good, you're supposed to reintegrate with the world. You're not supposed to spend your entire lifetime locked away in your bedroom. Now, I know there's times where you need to be laser focused, and that does require you to spend time with yourself, deepen your thoughts. This helps you gain clarity over your vision and figure out the right path to take and the right decisions to make without being distracted by other opinions of people and all the outside distractions of social media. Like, I get it. You need to lock in and be by yourself at times, but the self-improvement trend called monk mode, I'm sure you've heard of monk mode, but you hear the people who are in self-improvement that are like nerds, and they're using self-improvement and the monk mode trend as a way to justify their lack of communication skills. Now, like I said, after you build yourself, like after you start working on yourself, the point is to reintegrate with the world. And that requires you to communicate with others. You can't do that sitting in your bedroom. Like, sure, you can hop on Zoom meetings, you can hop on phone calls. Like, that is very important, but you're not building any real relationships. And communication, talking to other people, is a very, very important part of self-improvement. Like, you have the best body in the world. You can have the ripped six pack. You can be rich, but if you are not talking to people, first of all, I highly doubt you're going to make any money because you're not going to be able to have those relationships you need. You're not going to have the customers you need or the friends you need to enjoy life. So what even is monk mode? Monk mode is this period of time where you get into an intense focus. Maybe you write down a bunch of goals, a bunch of different work things you want to work on, different traits you want to work on, maybe a skill you want to learn, maybe some bad habits you want to erase, and you focus on fixing these bad habits for a specific period of time. Maybe it's a month, maybe it's 90 days, but that's usually as long as it should be. But then you see the guys who are not very confident in themselves, right? And instead of using monk mode as a way to build themselves, as a way to stay focused on their mission, on their purpose, they use it as like a shield to keep themselves from going out and about and interacting with the world. And the truth is, there's nothing cool about being alone. Now, if you have trouble communicating with people, that's one of the main things you should be working on in your monk mode, like in your period of focus. I've went through periods of monk mode, and it's always about locking in on a goal at hand. And I've also made the mistake on locking in for too long and using this idea that, oh, I'm working on myself, I'm building myself, I don't need to have people around me, I need to just be with me, and be with my own thoughts and be with my own mission. I've had this idea and I've let it extend for too long. And it's the self-improvement nerds who are talking about this stuff that make themselves feel good about not talking to people. They think it's like this trophy, like, yeah, I don't talk to anybody. I stay in my own lane, I do my own thing. And like, that sounds cool to say out loud, but when you really think about it, what is the entire point of improving yourself if you're only going to stick to yourself? And the fact that people are talking about self-improvement, like, I get it. You need to improve yourself. Like, I am a self-improvement guy. I believe that my main goal is to self-actualize, to figure out the main purpose of living my life and to live in alignment with the highest version of myself. So I am a self-improvement guy. I focus on self-improvement every single day. I'm always thinking about the ways I can counteract my weaknesses and become a better, stronger version of myself. But you have guys who use the self-improvement thing and they take it way too far. They get into these little modes of, yeah, all I need is me, and I'm just me versus me, and I'm only going to talk to me, and all I need to do is just sit in my bedroom and play video games, and just as long as I'm by myself, I am progressing, I'm getting better. They've taken this idea that it's supposed to be this period of time where you improve yourself, and this intense focus on your identity and just correcting all of your issues and erasing bad habits, and they've made it like a trophy, a badge of honor to spend all of your time alone. If you're not reintegrating with the world, if you're still spending all of your time alone, why did you even improve yourself? What was the entire point of locking in and improving yourself? Quick story, I remember when I first started my self-improvement journey, this was probably about 2022, 2023, but it was mainly after I graduated from college, after university, where I started to put like intentional effort into improving myself, like thinking about the bad habits that I had and all the issues I knew I needed to correct. And I was spending a lot of time reading. I was spending a lot of time really just focused on building my body, getting leaner, all this good stuff, man. I spent so much time alone that it got to where I convinced myself that if I talked to anybody, I was degrading. Like I was losing my progress if I hung out with people, if I communicated with others who weren't necessarily trying to improve themselves. Like I had convinced myself that since I spend all of my time alone, I am better than others. And this went for a long time. This period of isolation went for about a year, and eventually I moved in with a roommate. But even then, I still kind of isolated myself, and I just didn't communicate with the world. I had some friends that I didn't talk to. And like I said, I know there's times where you have to focus on yourself, but let's not forget that after you build yourself, you're supposed to give that new and improved version of yourself to the world. What was the point of making yourself better if you're going to keep yourself to yourself? And if you want to become a more happy, a person that enjoys life more, you need to have something to offer to the world. And that thing to offer is yourself. The thing to offer is the new and improved version of yourself. Don't be so selfish with yourself. I know that sounds crazy, but don't be selfish with yourself. After you do the work, let somebody else enjoy the new knowledge you've obtained. Share your ideas. Share the thoughts. Share the person you've become. If you're ripped up to shreds, bro, go talk to somebody. Teach somebody else how to get shredded. Share your journey about how you got lean and how you fixed your bad habit of smoking or drinking too much. Like, tell the world what you did to fix your problem. This is how you're going to become more fulfilled in the long run. And like I said, the times where I've been like isolated and I thought I was working on myself and I convinced myself that the way to get better was to isolate. Anytime I extended it too far, I got this deep period of loneliness, and you can even call it depression. But at the end of the day, nobody's improving themselves for themselves. You're getting leaner, you're getting more stronger, more capable to feel more confident when you are around other people. When you want to take your shirt off and not feel like you are being laughed at by people because you have titties and a big old gut as a man. Like, that's why you're getting in shape. And you're trying to learn these new skills, trying to learn persuasion, trying to learn how to be more charismatic. So maybe you can get a better job, ask your boss for that promotion, or maybe make a business to business partnership with somebody. Maybe it's talking to a girl you're interested in. Like, all these things that you're talking about where you're building these new skills is to benefit you in a social situation. So in the self-improvement space, you have people that talk about, like, of course, fitness. You have like NoFap. You have the monk mode thing, and then you have meditation and all these things, just becoming more one with oneself. But often the overlooked pillar is effective communication. Because no matter how great you make yourself, how great you make yourself look, that may make a great first impression, but you can start stumbling over your words and scare somebody away real quick. The minute you open your mouth, you tell the world exactly who you are. So if you don't have effective communication skills, if you don't understand like persuasion, if you don't have some level of charisma, if you don't have any type of confidence when you're speaking, any social skills, you don't know how to just shake hands with somebody and have this level of interaction where you can trade value with this person, you can receive value from them and understand human nature. If you don't have some base level of this communication skill, you're gonna have a very hard time connecting with people. And if you can't connect with people, you're not gonna find any girls interested in you. You're gonna have a hard time making friends. You're gonna have a hard time trying to advance in your career. So let's not forget the overlooked pillar of communication skills. I overlooked this for the longest time, mainly because when I was in school, throughout my entire life, I've always had a little bit of status to where I played football, and then I played college football, maybe I was in a wrestling team in high school, joined a fraternity. I've always kind of had this level of status where it was pretty easy to make relationships. But when you get into the adult world, maybe you're not in school right now, and you're trying to make these connections with people that you want to be in this circle with, you're gonna have a very hard time explaining to somebody the value that you can offer if you don't know base level persuasion and communication skills. You have to be able to present the value you have to somebody else. And I'm not saying that every relationship is transactional, whereas you're always looking to gain something from somebody, but you have parts of you that make you cool. And if you don't know how to articulate the value, whether maybe it's something you know about building physique, maybe it's something you know about a story you've went through, like you have a cool, interesting story, but you can't articulate it. in clear words with confidence to where you can make somebody at least laugh. Like you can even share a story in an interesting way. If you don't have these base level communication skills, you're gonna have a very difficult time connecting with anybody, no matter if it's romantically, just friend to friend, in the business professional space with a job or entrepreneurship venture, trying to connect with somebody like an investor or something like that, or maybe a potential partner. You gotta have these base skills if you wanna connect with anybody in any realm. So some quick, easy ways to improve your communication skills today that you can start doing today is to walk up, just talk to a stranger. I'm not going to give you any word tricks, any roadmaps, because the most important thing is just walking up to people and starting the conversation. You'll find that if you walk up to somebody, or you hear somebody talk about a topic that you have some type of level of information about, like you know something about it, you have a base level of knowledge about it. See if you can contribute to the conversation. Hey, how you doing? I heard you guys were talking about fitness. I've been in fitness for the past 10 years. I love it. What do you guys work out at? Boom. Just like find something that you can relate to them on and open the conversation. And this comes down to just being confident about it. And I know you can't just say, be confident. It's really hard to say, just be confident. You build the confidence by doing the work. So just walk up to a stranger. It could be a guy, a girl, an older gentleman, an old lady at the grocery store. Just walk up and talk to strangers. Break that ice. Break that social shield you've put up from locking yourself in your bedroom, playing video games, thinking that you're better than everybody because you spend all of your time alone. Break that social shield, break that ice, and just talk to people, bro. It makes you understand that people aren't gonna kill you. They aren't gonna slap you in the face for saying hello to them. Break that ice, talk to some strangers. And if you want to become more charismatic, become more concise in your speech, listen to what you're saying. Listen to the words that are coming out of your own mouth and see if they make sense. And this stuff takes time. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I'm this communication guru right now. This is something I am deliberately working on, but I'm not a guru by any means. But these are some things that I've done to improve my skills over the past several months and years, right? So walk up to strangers, talk to strangers. And when you are talking to people, or even when you are recording a video, if you do social media, listen to what you are saying. Are you making sense? Are your words clear? Are you stuttering? A lot of times you can just listen to yourself and say that, okay, maybe I'm talking too fast. Maybe I should slow down a little bit. Maybe I should take a breath in between the words I'm saying, right? Because a lot of the times, just by listening to yourself, you'll find these little hitches in your speech, these little fumble up of words, these little jumble up of ideas that don't make sense. If you just listen to what you're saying, and preferably when you're by yourself, because when you're in a conversation, you actually want to listen to what the other people are saying. So a lot of times when we're in conversations with people, we tend to have something else in our mind. So this really comes down to being present in the moment that you're in, right? If you're having a conversation with somebody, you want to be listening to what they're saying. I mean, genuinely listen to what they're interested in. If you want a book, like a book recommendation, side note, book recommendation on communication skills and just making friends and knowing how to flow in a conversation and connect with people. A great book is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And if you don't take anything out of this book, please remember to just try and remember the names of the people you are talking to. Remember their freaking name. When you remember somebody's name, it makes them feel like you value them, right? That you're actually listening to them. When you have to ask somebody what their name is again, you make them feel like that you weren't really interested in connecting with them in the first place. And like I said, listen to what they are saying. You don't want to be responding with something that has nothing to do with the topic you're talking about. Somebody can be telling you about their day or something that happened to them, and you completely change the frame of the conversation because you weren't listening to what they were saying. You want to get your own words out so bad that you weren't listening to what they're saying. Have you ever been in a conversation with somebody and you feel like they're talking, like their mouth is open, like while you're talking to them, they're like the mouth is open because they have something on their mind that they just can't wait to share with you, that everything you just said went in one ear and out the other. Do not do this. You know what I'm talking about. It pisses you off when you're talking to somebody and you just know that they have something on the edge of their tongue that they just can't wait to get out. Don't be these people. These people are a nuisance to be around because no matter what you say, they don't listen to you. And then they'll probably ask you a stupid question down the road of something that you just mentioned, but they were so caught up in what they wanted to say themselves that they weren't listening to what you had to say. So Walk up to strangers, man. Be brave. Like, I know you're going to be nervous. You're going to have this level of social anxiety, but just walk up to people, bro. The worst thing they can do is just either ignore you or just be like, maybe if it's a girl, I have a boyfriend, I'm sorry. Or if it's a guy, most guys aren't going to be like, shut up, bro, get out of my face. They're going to like talk to you. And like, you'll know, right? You'll know. Maybe it'd be a little awkward in the beginning, but like, you'll know if you have some type of connection with this person, right? But just walk up to people. You're going to be anxious. You're going to be nervous. Just walk up to them, say hello, introduce yourself. What's your name? Where you from? How long you been living here? What do you find interesting? You know, I heard you guys talking about this. I'm interested in that as well. How'd you get into that? Right? Just walk up and make these base level conversations and listen to yourself while you're talking. Like, find a camera. If you want to start really working on like your charisma and trying to block out stuttering and fumbling over your words and being a more concise speaker, which basically just means getting to the point and not rambling over your words. As you notice, I do this quite a bit because I like to tell stories. Sometimes it's cool. Like one of these videos, I do it a lot, but if I'm trying to get my point across to somebody, I'm going to get to the point. Like, what are we here for? What do you want to know? And how can I contribute to what you want to know? Right? But talk to strangers, listen to yourself, listen to the other people you're talking to. And if you do these other things, if you do all the things I've talked about, you do this repeatedly. Now, there's deeper stuff we could talk about in future videos. If you want specific advice on specific interactions, specific occasions, please drop something in the comments. Drop me some questions. Let me know what you want to know about. But if you just learn these base level skills, you get over your social anxiety, you're gonna have a much easier time connecting with potential partners, whether you're trying to get in a relationship, maybe you want to make some friends, maybe you're trying to find a business partner, maybe you're looking for an investor in your business, maybe you want to talk to your boss, you want to talk to the CEO about giving you some promotion, or maybe you want to talk to them about letting you work virtual, letting you work remote because you feel like you have some value to bring to the company where you can work from home and still have the same level of performance, right? But you need to know how to communicate. You need to have charisma. You need to be confident in your speech, not be fumbling over your words and saying and buts and ums and uhs. And I know I'm being a hypocrite right now because I still say like and I still do this sometimes. This is an active process. You get better at this the more you work on it. But the person I am today, the way I speak today, is 1,000 times better than the person that was talking on camera or to other people a year ago, right? So just start working on this stuff. I put deliberate attention into fixing these small little nicks in your speech, right? And just, like I said, talking to people, really listen to what they're saying. Don't be so caught up in what you want to know that you can't listen to what they're saying. Become genuinely interested in what they're saying. That's a key point that Dale Carnegie talks about in his book. Become genuinely interested in what they're saying. And if you're choosing who you want to talk to because you hear somebody say something and they look like they have something you want, you should be genuinely interested in what they have to say. But look, that's all I got. If you are in this monk mode, or if you're in this self-improvement thing and you're trying to improve yourself, do not forget that after you build a body, after you build the business, or while you're working on the business, while you are trying to build anything, any project, learn a new skill, the point is to reintegrate with your community, reintegrate with humanity, and share the new knowledge you found, the new body you've built, the new skill you've learned. Share this with the world. Recontribute to your community, to your relationship, or the business that you're in, or the company that you work for. Reintegrate with the world. Do not lock yourself in a bedroom playing video games or whatever you do in your bedroom all alone and convince yourself that you are this godly person that doesn't need anybody and all you do is work on yourself all day, and I am in isolation like you're some type of monk meditating all day. Like after your meditation, if you want to do that, meditate, do what you want to do, but after you build something, while you're working on the project, reintegrate with the world. Be a human being. We are social animals. If you neglect this skill of communication, everything you learned, all the improvements you made are completely useless. So don't listen to these nerds who talk about monk mode and they spend all their time alone. They have no friends. Like they're missing a key pillar of self-improvement. But look, appreciate you guys watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you got something valuable out of this conversation. And I hope you come back to the next video.